Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Emily and this is Rated Emily. So today what we are going to do is makeup. So this is my very first video. We are currently in quarantine 2020. What is this? What is happening? So here we are. So let's get right to it. So today I wanted to do a really simple makeup, still cute, still done up, but simple nonetheless. Something to just kind of look good at home. If you're working from home, which I am, I work full time from home, so it has been real, and sometimes the camera is really unforgiving. Sometimes you don't want to be on camera, and whenever you are on camera, it's a struggle. So this kind of makeup is what I think could work. What to expect on this channel. So I will be doing a little bit of everything. I have some ideas, so I'm really excited to launch this channel. And so today, like I said, we're gonna do some makeup, so let's jump right ahead. So I have already done a couple things off camera. I put on some moisturizer, a little bit of lip balm or chapstick, not sponsored, maybe someday. I've also put on some moisturizer on my face, and I think I said already that I cleaned up my eyebrows a little bit. I don't do a whole lot to them. As you can see, they're pretty thick. They've come a long way, to be honest, but here they are. So we already did all that, so now let's jump into foundation. My color foundation changes a lot, as I'm sure a lot of people does, throughout the year. So I've been in quarantine. I've been home since mid-March. I forgot to mention I also put on contacts. I do wear glasses regularly, and I also wear prescription contacts, so I have those in. Back to foundation. So depending on the time of year, my foundation color will change. I've been home for now almost 6 months, so my skin, I could use a little bit of sun. I have been trying to get out and get some sun, but right now my foundation color is on the lighter side. So I can share some of the foundation, I guess, brands and colors that I use. The colors are not that different, but some are a little bit cooler than others. So right here I have the, what brand is this? The Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless. I have the shade 220. So that is it, 220. I also have here the NYX Stay Matte But Not Flat. This is shade SMF07. It's warm beige. So I have that here. I do wear matte foundations. My skin is on the oilier side. I guess it's what you can call combination skin. So it's very oily in the T-zone, and then a little bit drier on the sides. So I guess that's combination. I just call it oily, so I just kind of treat my skin as oily skin all around. I'm not a beauty expert by any means, so this is just kind of what works for me. And even throughout the day, I don't blot on more powder, just because I feel like it kind of cakes on if you do that throughout the day. So I do just kind of blot it with I don't know, a tissue or something of that nature. I used to use like those blotting papers, but I just kind of never got into it again. So I'm gonna go ahead and use the Maybelline Fit Me 220, and I'm gonna go in with a Real Techniques buffing brush. I like to use this brush for my foundation. I do have a mirror here, so I might kind of look into the mirror as well as the camera. So let's go. So I take a little bit of, let me shake it first. That would be nice if I shake it. So I am not, like I said, a makeup guru by any means. I'm just kind of self-taught. So this is what I do. This is what works for me, like I said, with my sort of skin type, skin tone. As you can see, I do have discoloration, especially underneath the eyes. That's pretty, I've had that forever. So it's not something that I'm really like concerned about. I just cover it up with some concealer and we're good to go. So let's go ahead with foundation. I like to not use so much foundation. I'm gonna go ahead and tilt this just a little bit. I try not to use so much foundation because again, it gets pretty like oily throughout the day and I don't like to feel like I have almost a mask on. Yeah, so I try to keep it pretty light, but of course kind of cover up the spaces that do need to be covered up. So let's go in. Also, I'm pretty, I can be a little rough sometimes on my skin. That's not the best thing, but it's whatever. I'm also not gonna do so much. I also like to blend it down to my neck as much as possible. I'm also not going to use so much makeup or foundation today. This is just like a really simple kind of looking presentable on camera. I'm sure a lot of us are on camera these days. So I'm not really going to go in too much with like eyeshadow or like lipstick. I will put on a little bit of like natural, which is a little trick that I use. I don't really use lipsticks. I use lip liners as lipsticks because I find that they last a bit longer. So this is just like a simple kind of looking presentable on camera makeup. So I don't have like any particular order. I mean, I kind of do just because I feel like whenever you do your makeup, yes, you have kind of your own style of makeup, but I don't follow like super like beauty kind of guru. Okay. I don't follow a lot of like beauty kind of guru steps. I do like to learn from them. Um, but I still kind of do what works for me. I also have natural discoloration on the sides of my nose. Again, something that I've had my whole life. It's pretty red, like pretty significant red, almost like purpley sort of color. So I work with it. So I guess a question I can imagine people will have, which I feel like with quarantine, there's a lot of time for people to do things. Why did I decide to get on YouTube? Well, why not? I mean, like I said, I work from home full time. I'm usually home by myself. I do live with my boyfriend. We're going on 3 years together. I can talk about that in another video. Really cool. But yeah, so I'm home most of the week. He works outside of home. So I find that aside from work, like it's hard for me to really find like, I guess, entertainment. I recently started exploring photography as a hobby, and I think quarantine has been a really good time for people to do that. I think people are really going through it right now, and I'm a believer that any kind of creative outlet is helpful. And so yeah, so I'm exploring photography, um, and I had thought of YouTube for a while. Wow, it's crazy the difference. Like once you put on um, foundation and kind of start covering up those imperfections, looks good. So what was I saying? Yeah, so I just think that art is a really great outlet for self-expression. I think that, again, right now it's a really rough time for a lot of people. This is not just like something that's happening in the US or in one country or in one, town or whatever. Like, this is really, it's affecting all of us. So if we can find ways to express ourselves and connect, I'm all for it. So have a lot of foundation on my hand. So we are about done with foundation. I think I'm going to move my setup a little bit. That's better, just so that I can have a better kind of view of what I'm doing and not be sort of so hunched down. So I'm just gonna wipe this off. I just grabbed a napkin that I had nearby. Just gonna clean this up and keep going. So I'm done with foundation. Nothing crazy, just put a little bit on your ears too, like whatever's left, because sometimes I'll have foundation all cute and then my ears are a different color. So just blend that out. There we go. So now let's do concealer. So I didn't always do concealer. I just recently got into concealer and it's great. I used to just cover up my under eye, like I said, the sides of my nose, any other imperfections with concealer. And then foundation. And then I recently got into concealer. So let's do concealer. I have my little concealer brush. Again, I don't do the whole fancy YouTube makeup guru. I'm self-taught. I do what works for me. So I have a EcoTools brush. Doesn't really have a number or anything, just EcoTools. It works. And then for concealer, I'm using the NYX HD Studio Photogenic. This is shade CW4. There you go. Again, not sponsored, maybe one day. So let's go in with concealer. And again, I don't use a lot of concealer just in general. I don't want to feel like caked up. Just a little bit for me, I think goes a long way. So let's go in. Also, concealer is one of those things that you have to work pretty quickly with because it will dry pretty fast. So you want to work quickly. I look beautiful. All right, so let's buff this out. Let's blend that out. I do have a like a beauty blender. I don't know why I don't really get into it so much. I do like brushes. I think just like cleaning beauty blenders, I feel like the product never kind of 100% comes out, so I don't want to leave like product in and then kind of come back and do it again or clean it again, and just, I don't know, I just never really got into it. I did use beauty blenders at some point and then I just kind of never continued doing it. So I'm just blending out the concealer, also using a bit on my lid, not too much because you don't want to look overly, kind of just a little bit. So yeah, brushes, I prefer brushes. So you want to kind of do the thing like the kind of like when you're putting on mascara, like kind of stretch or do a funny face just to be able to get the product in like any creases, because the worst thing is just getting those creases and you kind of look like just those lines aren't the most appealing or best looking. So I just try to blend it out and kind of get it into all those little crevices. as best as I can. So I think you can see a little bit better now what I'm doing. Yeah, that works. So how are people managing quarantine? Again, I have been in quarantine since mid-March. I started working remotely in mid-March. I mean, I do go outside for like essential like groceries and things like that. But excuse me. But I try to stay home as much as possible just for safety. You know, I think we all need to be safe and just take care of one another. I am gonna put some powder on top of this, so right now it maybe looks a little bit crazy, but I'll be blending it out and putting some powder. So how are people managing quarantine? I live in the US. We haven't necessarily managed all the situation the best, but I don't mean for this to be a political video or channel at all. Maybe I will talk about those kind of topics in the future. Not sure, but for right now, maybe not. But either way, I think we could have managed the situation a lot better. It seems like other countries have, and they've been able to kind of get out or kind of get back to normal. I'm just gonna use whatever's left on the brush and just put it on the sides of my nose. Yeah, so hopefully you guys are managing quarantine well. Hopefully you are all safe. Hopefully your families are safe. I know this is such a crazy time, so we're all just kind of doing our best. So let's go in with powder. So for powder, I'm using the same kind of brand or product type as my foundation. Excuse me, no, I didn't use this one. I used the Maybelline Fit Me. So I'm using for powder NYX Cosmetics Stay Matte But Not Flat powder. This is in shade SMP07, so it's the same shade as the as one of my foundations. The reason why I use this bit of darker foundation is because I find that if I use a lighter foundation and a lighter powder, it doesn't look great. So I'll use a bit of a lighter foundation and then a bit of a darker powder just to kind of balance it out. So we're gonna go in with this powder. It's been used. So let's go in. And there's like a little makeup sponge in here. Again, it's been used. I'm not a professional. I'm just kind of like I'm self-taught, so please forgive me. So I like to kind of bend the powder like this. Not the powder, the sponge like this, and get powder so that I can set my under eye easier. I find that that works a little better as opposed to just kind of using the sponge open under my eyes. So let's go ahead and set. Again, not too much. We don't have to go too crazy. Just to set it. The sides and the eyelids. I would like to do like ASMR. Yeah, I personally am an avid ASMR watcher. I watch it every night to go to sleep, so I love ASMR. So maybe one day I'll get into that. Let's see. In the meantime, I'll do my makeup. So let's set. Set the sides. And then I'm actually going to use a brush to set my overall face. So here I have a Color Just brush. I don't I'm not sure what number this is, but it's just a powder brush. So I'm gonna use this. It's very fluffy. It's a very fluffy brush. So I'll use this to put on powder on the rest of my face. So like I mentioned before, I have pretty oily skin. Right now it's doing pretty well because I'm putting on makeup fresh, but in an hour or so I'll start seeing a little bit of oil and things like that. So I work with it. It is what it is. So we're all set with that. Okay. All right, so let's do contour. So for contour, we're using the Kiss New York Professional Contour Kit. I think this is the warm kit. It's KCT02. That's what it looks like. And it comes with a little brush. So let's do our contour. So inside there's 3 colors. So this is a highlight. I don't know if you can really capture it. I think it's oh, there we go. So this is a highlight. It's a little too dark for me, so I don't really use it as a highlight. Maybe I'll use it as a bit of an eyeshadow, but for right now I won't use it as a highlight. So this is a highlight. This is a lighter shade, which is the one that I usually use for times when I don't have as much of a tan. And then this is a darker one that I use when I do have a tan, or I'll use it for eyeshadow. So these two I usually use as eyeshadow, and this I'll use like in the inner corner or something like that to give it a little bit of a pop. So I'm gonna go ahead and use the middle shade, the lighter one, just a little bit, not too much, and I'll kind of tap it off, and let's go in. I will blow on the brushes sometimes. I know you're not supposed to, but I have done it. It's showing up pretty like dark, or I don't know, it's showing a little bit funky on the camera. Like live it looks fine. I guess it doesn't look terrible. I'll make it work. And then I'll do my jawline a little bit. I like to go a little bit down just so that it all looks a little even. If I find that it's too like harsh, I'll use a clean brush, excuse me, and kind of buff it away a little bit so it doesn't look too concentrated, because I don't think that looks flattering at all. Then I'll do my temples. And I'll go in on my forehead. So for my forehead, because I do have a pretty large forehead, I do contour it, and I find that it works. It makes it look a bit more, kind of brings it in a little bit. Yeah, I got bullied in middle school for my forehead. It is what it is. I think very beautiful women have, or there are women who are very beautiful who also have a big forehead. So if Rihanna has a big forehead, then it works for me. She's gorgeous. So I go all around. I try not to bring it in too deep, because I think then it just makes your face look a little bit dirty. Sorry if I'm looking away from the camera. I'm just looking at the screen. So yeah, I try to contour my forehead but not bring it in too deep where it makes my face look dirty. Here we go. I also make sure to blend it into my hairline because if you don't, then it looks a little weird. So let's blend out the other side. Do the traditional suck in your cheek method. Helps out a lot. See, like if I leave this like unblended, it looks pretty bad. Unless your hair is gonna be down, then that's a different story. To kind of contour the sides here, I think that looks pretty good. Sort of makes your chin and your neck look a little bit more kind of chiseled. I also like to contour my nose. I don't do like extreme kind of contouring, but I like doing it. So let's go in. So this is how I do it. Try to bring it up to kind of my eyebrow. Sort of contour the sides a little bit, kind of blend it out. Simple. I don't like to do too much on my nose. And then I do kind of the tip of my nose a little bit. It's weird, like I highlighted with concealer, and then I did contour. Again, just what works for me. So I think we are good with contouring. Again, I don't do too much as far as that. So that's done. Oh, let's fill in my eyebrows. We'll talk about eyebrows in a second. So my eyebrows, I have pretty thick eyebrows now. Like I said, it's been a long way with my eyebrows. I have a beverage here. I like drinking seltzer water. So I have some seltzer water and I put a little bit of juice in it. It's pretty good. So eyebrows. In high school, I screwed up my eyebrows. I think it was like one of my teachers. She had like the middle of her, or not the middle, like the beginning of her eyebrow here. So it was like normal like this, but then this was like super thin. And so I did that. I plucked my eyebrows. I left this kind of beginning here, and then I plucked this super thin, so like half of this was gone. And I graduated high school, and over the years I was like, this is not good, this is not flattering. And again, for me, because I have a large forehead, if I do like really thin eyebrows, it just makes it, in my eyes, look bigger. Like it makes it look just way too much space. So I learned that I should definitely have thicker eyebrows. Plus I like them more. They're a little bit more, well, very much more low maintenance. And I just think they look nicer. They're a lot more natural. All I really do is I just kind of pluck underneath here a little bit, just more so on the ends. I just clean up the top with like one of those like razors, like eyebrow razors. And then here I'll just pluck these little middle hairs, which it's not too many. And that's it. And I do like to fill my eyebrows in just because under here, like my hair never really sort of grew in fully. Like you can see that there's a little bit of like some blanker spaces kind of on both sides. This side isn't that bad right now. It kind of comes and goes. Sometimes this side is a little bit more full, sometimes this side is. So I do like to fill it in with a little bit of eyeshadow. This is I'm not a professional makeup artist. This is a New York & Company palette. Look at that. It's a pretty solid palette. It has more like neutral tones, and I do use it a lot. So it has some pretty good colors in there. So for my eyebrows, I'll use, depends on how dramatic my makeup is gonna be. So if I'm gonna do like a nice eyeshadow, I usually go with more neutral tones. I haven't really ventured into a lot of colors. I do have a pretty awesome palette. It's over there. That has a lot of colors. I haven't really ventured out a lot into a lot of colorful eyeshadow just because I'm not the best at makeup. So I do more natural colors, more earth tones, blacks, like dark purples. Because my eyes are brown, purples tend to work really well and it looks really nice. But for my eyebrows, so depending on how dramatic my eyeshadow is, like my makeup is, then I'll use a little bit more or less dramatic eyebrow color to fill it in, just so that my eyebrows kind of don't get lost with the eyeshadow. So today, for a more natural look, I'll use a little bit more natural color. So I usually use this shade. It doesn't really have shade colors, but this is just like a light brown. I think you can see there, light brown color. There we go. So light brown color. Sometimes I'll kind of mix in this darker brown color, or I'll go way out and use black. Again, just really depends on what my makeup is for that day. So today we're doing natural, so let's go in with a natural color. So I'll use the first lighter brown. And what I do is I take a brush. This brush is, the other end is missing, but I just use this little brush. I don't remember where I got this brush from. It doesn't have a name or a brand, but it's just a thin brush. Let me see if I can. So it's a thin brush, as you can see, super thin, nothing crazy. And I like it because it's thin enough where I can kind of go into my eyebrows and it be just kind of natural. So I'll show you how I do it. So I'm gonna go into the light brown, just a little bit. I don't like to do over the top. Kind of take off the excess, and I think I'm gonna mix a little bit of this other brown, so just sort of like that. And so let's go. I like to start from the outside of the brow just because you can kind of do a little bit more stronger end and then kind of blend in the middle, like the beginning of the brow. If you start here, it's going to be way too dark and it's going to look unnatural. So I start from the outside and then whatever's left, I just kind of blend it in on the inside. Let me see if I can move my workstation over a little bit so that you can see a little better what I'm doing. So I'm going to go in and start from the outside. Do you see what that's doing? Again, I don't fill them in like overly. I know that looks a little bit reddish. It's mostly because of the lighting. I do have two lights here, so it's kind of really bringing it out. But you should use a more brown tone. Excuse me. A more brown tone, just because if you go in with a black, it's gonna look way too strong and you don't want that either. So with the darker brown, like it's filling in, like you can tell it's a little bit more filled in, like it gives a little something, but it's not too dramatic. So let's go in a little bit. I'm like barely tapping it because I don't want it to be overly with like pigment. I also try to go in the bottom a little bit more just because the top there is more brow, so I don't really need to go in too dramatic on the top. And then whatever's left, I'm not going to take any more. I'm just going to kind of flick these little areas, not too much. Again, just want to keep it super natural. Like you can barely see it, but that's exactly what you want. So see, like it's not incredibly different, but it does give it like a little bit of fill. And again, I'm not gonna go, like I know here it's a little bit of space, but let me see. Let me fill it in a little more. I don't want to go too crazy. See, like that's a little better, right? Yay, that worked. So let's do the same thing on the other side. So again, going in with my lighter and mixing it with the dark brown. I'm barely getting any pigment, so actually you can see it better on this side. So I'm just filling more so the bottom of the brow and kind of just like combing my brows into where they should be sitting, like into shape. I don't use eyebrow gel. I just never got into it, so I think my eyelashes or my eyebrows just kind of hang out wherever they should. They're not too unruly. So we filled that, and then with whatever's left, I'm just gonna kind of flick. Also, you don't wanna like take shadow and kind of go in straight and like you wanna kind of flick it how the hairs grow. There we go. So nothing too dramatic, just a supernatural fill. What is next? Let's do eyelashes. Let's do lashes. So I just recently got into falsies, and so today I'm using the Kiss Next Generation Wispy Blowout Lashes. So these are super cute. There we go. These are the Pompadour. You can see there, Pompadour. And so I literally, I bought this maybe like a week, or not a week, a couple weeks ago. And so I just tried it on for the first time. Like I only tried it out once. So we're gonna go in. I didn't have to cut the eyelash. Surprisingly, it fit in on my eye perfectly. So I know usually you're supposed to kind of trim it wherever you need to, but for me, my eye shape, my eye size, it worked perfect. So what we're gonna do is put a little bit of adhesive, not too much. If I do any of this wrong, again, please forgive me. I'm very much a novice. So you want to put a thin coat of adhesive, not too much. Also, I'm using the Kiss Strip Lash Adhesive with Aloe. It came in a little pack. Again, not sponsored. Kiss, if you want to work together, let me know. Just kidding. So you want to make the lashes, or the glue rather, a little bit tacky. So you want to kind of blow it a little bit. Also, I'm sure that I'm going to make a very funny face putting this on, so feel free to laugh. Alright, so let's go in. I don't put the lash, I don't think you're supposed to anyway, but I don't put the lash directly on my lashes. I put the lash on my eyelid, just very close to the lash line. So I'm going to use this little kind of tweezer looking thing that comes in the little package. And I'm going to start on the inner corner. And then you want to kind of push it in. Yay, so pretty. I love it. I love it. So I like the pompadour because they're very, again, as the name suggests, it's like a blowout. So it's just super natural, super wispy. Like, look how pretty. Hey, look how pretty, how pretty that looks. So I love it. And then you want to kind of press the strip onto your eyelash. So it might be hard, when I blink it looks a little crazy. It might be hard to see, but if I close my eye, you can see that it's not on like directly the eyelash line, like where the hair grows. It's on the eyelid. Just because you don't want to put it directly on your lash, or if not, it's just gonna like rip your lashes when you take it off. And we'll blend those in a second. So let's do the next lash. Oops. So again, with your glue, you want to put a thin layer. These look so pretty. I don't know why I didn't get into false lashes sooner. I guess because my lashes, I mean, I don't have the thickest set of lashes, but with mascara, they do look pretty good. But I think false lashes definitely just make your eyes and your face pop that much more. So let's blow it a little bit so it can get tacky, so the glue can get tacky. Yeah, they look good. It feels a little weird at first, like I don't know why, but it feels a little bit weird. I like it, it looks cute. So make the glue tacky. Let's go in with it. Let's use the little tweezer thing. Sorry about any background noise, by the way. So we're gonna start on the inner corner. I think your fingers are really your best tool most of the time because you have more control. I think the little tweezer things do help, but to be able to get it where they're supposed to be using your fingers is definitely best. So there we go. They look pretty good. Again, I don't put it on my actual lash. I put it on my eyelid as close as possible to my eyelashes. And I think what I'll do, I'll just put a little bit of eyeliner on the top just to kind of cover it because it looks a little crazy. I can't close this eye, but it just looks a little wonky. So let me get put a little bit of eyeliner. Let's grab that. So here I have some liquid eyeliner from e.l.f. Should be good. And this is in Jet Black. It's 21702. That's the shade. It's Jet Black. So what we're gonna do is just line right on top of the lashes. Like, it's not terrible. You know what? I think I'm gonna leave it like that. It's fine. So let's let's do highlight. Let's highlight real quick. So for highlight, I'm gonna grab another of my Color Just brushes. This one is a little bit more like a fan brush. And let's use the NYX Born to Glow highlighter. This is in the shade Chosen One. Okay. I also just recently got into highlighter. So yeah. So let's go in. Just a couple of taps. And let's highlight. I think it's so pretty though. Highlighters, I think they definitely give you a little bit of like oomph. Wow, that's pretty. Look at that. How cute. I don't really put any here because again I have an oily T-zone, so if I put it here I'm gonna look like the sun. So I don't put it there. I barely put it on my nose, and I don't put it here either. Again, that T-zone is super oily. It's gonna look a little crazy afterwards, but definitely on the high points of your cheek it looks gorgeous. I don't get oily there at all, so I kind of go to town a little bit. Also right here underneath the brow, it looks really pretty. So let's do a little bit. Like if you're not gonna put on, wow, that's pretty. That's definitely pretty. So if you're not gonna put, even if you do eyeshadow, you can just put a little bit of highlighter there and it looks really cute. Super cute. I like to put highlighter in the inner corner. So remember I mentioned earlier about that darker highlight that I have. I think that's a little too dark, like if I was to just leave my makeup how it is right now. So I take a clean brush. This is again from the Color Just kit, and I just take a little bit of highlighter and I put it in my inner corner. Like that gives it a really pretty pop. Again. The light you can appreciate it more, but that's really pretty. I like that. Last but not least, let's do, I'm just kind of looking to see what else can be done. Let's put on a little bit of white eyeliner. I think that'll be pretty. So I use white eyeliner more for like natural looks. So I think it gives it kind of makes your eye open up. So let's go in with a little white eyeliner. I remember learning about white eyeliner. Oh, that looks pretty. I remember learning about white eyeliner watching Michelle Phan videos. She did a Lady Gaga, what video was it? Poker Face, where Lady Gaga had like the googly eyes, and she used like white eyeliner and made her eyes like really like extra and big. That's when I first learned about white eyeshadow. So shout out to Michelle Phan. She's definitely a YouTube and um, makeup world just guru and OG. So that's where I remember learning about it. So let's go ahead. I know you shouldn't pull your skin down. Sorry, that's what I do. This eyeliner isn't, for whatever reason, it's not that like pigmented, but it does give you that sort of white kind of glow, like reflection almost. So it still gives the same effect. Yeah, it's definitely more like a highlighter kind of feel. I think that's pretty. And I'm gonna put a little bit of mascara on my bottom lashes just to sort of even my eyelashes out. You don't have to do this if you're going for like the more natural look. I think this is beautiful as is, but I think just kind of balancing it out just a little bit. Oh, I forgot to. This is the volume. This is the Bisou Beauty. Bisou Beauty. And this is a volume vibrant. I don't think you can really see because the bottle is gold, but it's a volume vibrant mascara volumisateur. Yes, that's the one. I got this in Marshalls, actually. Marshalls has really good makeup, skincare, body care. Marshalls, TJ Maxx, those kind of stores, they have a lot of really good stuff. So I got it there, and it's really volumizing. I like it a lot. See, so just a little something. Just so it doesn't look too abandoned. I could, if I wanted to, connect my top lashes and bottom lashes with mascara, but I feel like you can't even really tell, like, from further away. I think, like, if you were really staring into my face, like, you could tell that they are falsies, but I think it still works. So let's do lipstick. Again, I said in the beginning, I don't really use lipsticks. I don't even, oh, I have lip gloss, but I don't think I'll use lip gloss. So I like to use lipsticks. I have lip liner, excuse me. I have a red one. I'm not gonna use that one today, but I am gonna use more natural colors. So the ones that I like are the NYX Professional Makeup Lip Pencil. This is in the shade Natural. It's SPL 810. And I also use the Palladio in the shade Spice. The Palladio is a little bit more like a brownish shade. The next one is a little bit pinkier. I feel like the pink would look pretty. Let's do the pink. Let's do the NYX Natural. So again, I use this all around as a lipstick. I also slightly overdraw my lips, not too much, but I think it gives that little bit of fullness that's really pretty. Another trick that I learned from watching YouTubers, this I learned from is Judy Time. The video where she was getting her bridal makeup done by Mally Roncal. This is like a really OG video. But I learned that for your Cupid's bow, so you can draw your Cupid's bow like it is normal, or you can do this really simple trick that helps your lips look a little bit kind of plumper. So basically what it is instead of following like the natural sort of bow sort of shape of the Cupid's bow, you draw like a straight line. So I'll do that real quick. Let me move this. So here, you draw a straight line across. So see how that makes my lips look like a little bit like plumper and like juicier? That's the trick. So and then, so once I outline, I just fill it in with the liner. I'm due for a lip scrub. I like to do lip scrubs with sugar and a little bit of like olive oil. I should have done that before I started, but it's all good. It still looks nice. So it doesn't have to be overly perfect, but look at how pretty that looks. Let me just fill it in a little bit in the middle. It looks really natural, really pretty. I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So that's all. So this is the look. Super natural. Again, this is really great for if you have to be on camera, like for work or for anything else. I think this is a really good go-to makeup. So thank you again. This is my first video. I look forward to making more content for you. I envision this channel just having a variety of content from makeup to maybe just talking a little bit about life. Again, life in quarantine has been such a crazy time. Maybe mukbangs, anything of that sort. So I'm really excited. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.